I've got quite a quiet voice anyway. Can people hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. Firstly, I want to say thank you to Abortion Rights for inviting me. I'm very, very honoured to be asked to speak. And I'm glad to see so many people out here defending our right to choose. But I want to reiterate that this is not just a defensive battle. It can't be just a defensive battle if we expect to win it. And as the previous speaker said, we've seen many people already in the pro-choice movement, including, with greatest respect to her, Diane, who's just spoken, coming out and saying every abortion is a tragedy. And we have to stop these concessions. We have to stop starting out our arguments by saying to the pro-life minority, oh, you might be right, actually we're really sorry if we have abortions, actually it's all really, really sad and we don't want to do it. Actually, what we need to be up there saying is, it's not abortion that's a tragedy. What is a tragedy is every single unwanted pregnancy that a woman is forced to carry to term. That, every time that happens, every time a woman is forced to go through labour against her will, that is an abomination which we should not consider conscionable in a modern society with modern medical technology. We cannot stand for it. It's not enough to be on the defensive here, because these attacks are going to be, they're going to be more of them, they're going to be stronger, because some politicians really hate women. Some of those men in there really do not want women to have sexual, social and economic freedom, and that is a danger in and of itself. What is also a danger is the men in there who don't care at all, but who are prepared to use women's bodies as a political football to gain votes when they've got absolutely nothing to say to the working people of this country to gain their votes. That is an abomination that should not go about this law that's being forced through, this amendment to make women have compulsory counselling by objective abortion providers, by which they mean fundamentalist Christian organisations. That law is going to be, Frank Field wants to push that law through without a vote in Parliament, and this is what's happening at the moment. The attacks on abortion rights, as they are in America, are starting to be phrased in terms of caring, in terms of looking after women and doing things for our own good, you know, just providing them with a little bit of counselling. We need to analyse that. We need to say, actually, what does this say to women? When you say, you can't decide about your own body, you have to be given counselling first. That enshrines in law the concept that women are not mentally capable to decide what happens to our own bodies, and that is a problem. And actually, this is being put forward on the basis that that abortion is traumatic to women, that abortion causes mental breakdown. And I've got some stats here for you, if you ever want to make these arguments, which I suggest you do. As far back as 1987, President Reagan in the United States commissioned a virulently anti-choice Christian doctor to do a study into whether or not abortion harms women. And the doctor said the mental health effects of abortion are minuscule from a public health perspective. Studies from 1987 onwards have consistently shown that there is no medical basis for this myth that abortion is harmful to a woman's mental health, that women somehow can't cope with choice. We can't cope with our rights. We're little, delicate, fragile creatures. We can't cope with it. That is nonsense. It's bullshit. We need to be throwing that out. And I tell you what is damaging sometimes to women's health. What does cause, what is damaging to a women's mental health at times is pregnancy. 10% of women who carry pregnancies to term will suffer from postnatal depression. And you would think, since this government seems so keen, so very, very keen to look after women during pregnancy and to make sure that they're not harming their mental health, you'd think that they'd be pouring money into postnatal depression services, wouldn't you? Actually, Liverpool last month had its last postnatal depression centre closed down because of government cuts. Postnatal depression services, women's sexual health services are being shut down across the country because of these cuts that are coming in. And this is not about protecting women, this is about control, and this is about a vote grab, this is about making a statement that women are not fit to decide what happens to us, and we need to be attacking it. We don't need to be just on the defensive. We need to be out there saying, we want abortion that is free to everyone on the point of demand. We don't want to have to justify it. We won't settle. Thank you. We will not settle even for the settlement we have today, because the settlement that we have today obliges any woman seeking an abortion to make a case for her own mental health and to seek the consent of 2 separate doctors to justify that decision. I think that's appalling. I think we shouldn't settle for that. You know, the NHS is not a moral arbiter. People who get injured in gunfights, people who come in having suffered injuries from being involved in drug crime don't have to justify why they need medical treatment. Women do. Like the previous speaker said, I wanted to thank you all for coming today, but I wanted to remind everyone of this particular law that's going through, this particular law to enshrine in law women's mental incapacity to choose about their own bodies, and make it clear that us standing here today might not stop it. This may well happen. This is real. This might happen in our country. We need to be attacking that. We need to be on the attack. Coming to a protest is fantastic, and I'm really, really grateful and pleased to see everyone here today, but we need to do more. We need to be going back to our schools, to our colleges, to our workplaces, to our universities, to our families, having those arguments, starting our own campaign groups. I would encourage everyone here, write blogs, write articles, talk to people, get the statement out that we are the pro-choice majority. It's 76% of the UK. We know we are right, we know they're wrong, and we're not prepared to stand for their attacks anymore. Thank you.